Call the meeting back to order. Just out of closed session, I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall and second by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that Council Municipality of West Grey hereby returns to open session of Council at 7:04 p.m. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Mark, you'll let the minutes note. I don't think there's business arising will be probably be a notice, be done under notice of motion on the from closed session on the permits. Yeah, it's under Ken's report, so that don't have anything else, and only those two items that we went into were the only two items discussed in closed session. Public information, don't have any. The consent agenda. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting and seconded by Mark Rapke. Be it resolved that items A1 to C2 inclusive contained in Part 1 consent agenda be adopted, and further that authorization be given for the actions to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Mark.
Just under my report, the consent agenda report, under the council committee meeting dates for 2015, I did note the change of October 5th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., but I stated 2014. I should say 2015.
Okay, make that. Any other questions or comments on the consent? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. What does that bring us down to? Thank you, Mark. I'll hand out those ones, resolutions to give effect. There's no award of tenders. Future meetings are there. Communications from Mayor and Council. Has any council members got communications? Mr. Mollison. Dave.
Your Worship, at the Remembrance Day service on Tuesday in Durham, there was two incidents that our firefighters that were on scene were attending the service. They looked after the people instantly, like the both of them went down, and next you saw was the firefighters there. They had all their equipment there. It's the home of instant service is what it was, and they were well looked after. And I'm very proud of them that they were there so fast, and they did such a good job with the two of them. So, as I say, I thought we were fast in the city, but we had nothing on the boys there.
Things are done a lot quicker here, Mr. Mollison, than they were where you were in Etobicoke. Anything else? Councillor Thompson, Rob.
Just to remind everyone, this Saturday at the Durham Arena between 9 and 4 is the one-stop shopping bazaar to bring out our local talents out there. Anybody that's has their own trades and wants to sell some of their goods and so on. There's a function at the Durham Arena this Saturday.
Councillor Lawrence. Carol.
Thank you. Just to say, I attended the How Green Is This organization fundraising dinner on Saturday night. Councillor Cutting was ill. They're sure a good group of people. They're working hard to raise funds, and it was sold out. Just to let you know that some report on the Durham Girls. You probably saw them. Marched at the Remembrance Day on Tuesday. Did the Owen Sound Parade on Saturday, and a 2-mile parade in Milton on Sunday. And again, all proudly carrying the West Grey banner. Christmas in the Village in Newstead, the plans are going ahead. That's going to be December the 7th. I can tell you more at the next council meeting. And finally, it's probably Ken or Larry will report this, but the bridge arrived in Newstead, and there's a lot of happy people down there. I thought maybe they could parade it down the main street, and I think they almost did, so.
Well, we hope to be able to get that put in place by next spring. Anyways, we look forward to doing that. And yes, was humbled to be able to represent the municipality at the Remembrance Day service. The Legion did an excellent job again. And then at the dinner on Tuesday night, Remembrance Day, the Legion still has their dinner and their awards, long service with the Legion. I thought it was interesting, Elmer Clark received his veteran from the Second World War as 70 years that he's been a member of the Durham Legion. So that was pretty interesting. They did a good job. Was the Elmwood Chamber of Commerce had a dinner a week and a half ago, a wing night, and dinner and their elimination draw. So I'm still here working. It wasn't big, but the 4 tickets, I haven't got a phone call yet to say any of those 4 tickets won. Carol's shaking her head. She didn't win either. I don't know whether anybody in the audience, they're not jumping up and down, so they didn't win either. But it was well attended, and the Chamber does a lot of great work up in Elmwood for that. One other opening on Friday night, this coming Friday night, the committee for the heated viewing room in Durham want to open that, get it in. The construction is just about completed, so we're hopeful we'll be able to cut the ribbon and have that in place for Friday night in Durham, just before the Thundercat hockey game that's on that evening. So it's gone very well. The construction's done well. There'll still be a few small items to add into it, but it would be open for, hopefully for public occupancy if everything goes good with our CBO tomorrow, to be able to open it up. So that's on Friday night. If anybody wants to attend. And I think that's about it. Nothing else? Oh, Councillor Cutting.
The last 2 weeks at the Durham Christmas Market in the old Rona building has been very successful. Number of people there. They were wondering, Mr. Mayor, if at some point you could maybe come down, they could get a picture. I keep saying, oh, he'll be here, but you haven't been there yet, so maybe you could come next week or something, just so that they can get a picture for the paper. But it's been very successful. A lot of people through, a lot of vendors, new vendors even joined us last week, and it's growing every week and very, very successful. Everybody seems to really enjoy it. So.
Yeah, excellent. I guess one other thing that I was going to mention, the inaugural for West Grey's Council is December the 1st, Monday morning, here at our next council meeting for the inaugural part. County Council inaugural is on Tuesday, December the 2nd, when the warden will be sworn in. And I don't think, well, I know I haven't announced it publicly, but I thought that this might be the time to do it. It's a little bit different, but that I will be putting my name forward to run as warden for 2015 for Grey County at this point in time. So just throwing that out there for the individuals. Anything else?
What time is it on?
7:30, Tuesday, yeah, 7:30 p.m. Tuesday night. Okay. So that's it for communications. The next, I've spoken about the inaugural piece here. We do have 3 individuals that will not be coming back, and as is customary, I'm going to present plaques to the 3 individuals that are not coming back on the West Grey Council at this point in time. And I just wondered, maybe we can do, oh, Eunice, give you the camera, Carrie? Yeah, we found it. So I'm going to ask, step out, probably this mic will still be good. If I'm out front, will that still pick it up? Yeah? Yep. Now, as I said, we have two councillors that have been here. One councillor that's been here for quite a while and is retiring. The other two have been with us for 4 years, the last 4 years, and I take great pride and privilege in working with all three individuals for a number of years. And the first individual I'd like to come forward is Mark Rapke to receive a plaque on behalf of an appreciation for your loyal service to the municipality of West Grey, 2014. Good sir, congratulations on giving us 4 years of your life. Sir, did you want to say anything? Or?
Yes, I guess. I kind of went through this last week, but it has been a very, I guess, special time. It's been 4 years. It's actually hard to believe it's gone this fast. I can't believe we've been doing this for 4 years. Had a lot of support from the council members. As Kevin, the mayor mentioned, I was new, so had a lot of support from the other councillors on procedures and helping me get started. And it's been a good time, and I'm glad that I ran. And I always encourage anyone else who has any ambitions or aspirations to help the municipality to do the same and put their name forward. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mark. The second individual that has been with us for 4 years around the council horseshoe here, and I have known him a lot longer than I knew you, Mark, is John Eccles. Yes, John is and still is a first cousin of mine. But John, again, it's still been great to work with you in a different context than planning family reunions or anything like that. And it's been a pleasure. So I'm going to offer that to you, sir.
Which one of us is going to break the camera?
They're more directly on you, so I suggest that it be you.
First there's a new camera, Gary.
And John, the floor is yours, sir.
I'd like to thank the staff that we've been able to work with in the last 4 years. I think we have one of the best staffs around, and I don't know what we would have done without you. I'd like to thank all the councillors and the mayor for their help. And a word of advice before I go, and advice is always worth what you pay for it. We have a couple of building projects coming up in the proposed building projects maybe coming up. And we all know the story of the farmer that built a new driving shed. A year later, he built a combine that wouldn't fit in. So the advice is plan for the future. Don't plan for what we need today. Plan for the future and continue on. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. And the last individual who has sat around the table with us took a little time off and then came back and has been here in West Grey for 11 years, served on the Durham Council prior to that. I believe that he's got a plaque from there as well too, hanging on his wall. If he hangs around and is on many more committees, he won't need any wallpaper. He'll have enough plaques to cover them all. But Dave Mollison has served on the West Grey Council for 11 of the 14 years that West Grey has been in existence. And it gives me great pleasure, Dave, to present you with this plaque. I know you and Mark and John, all of you will be still involved heavily within the community. And as I said, it gives me great pleasure to give you this plaque and recognize
Thank you.
Your years of service, sir. That's the camera right there.
Two, just in case.
Now the other two they were here for 4 years. Notice how short they were, Dave?
Well-
Just because you've been here for 11 doesn't mean you get, 3 times the amount of time.
2 weeks ago, I believe, I mentioned to you we're going to have some time, and the deputy mayor said I had to have a minimum of 800 words. Okay? So I've left most of it at the back, okay? I just set it up. I have enjoyed the last 14 years being an elected official. 3 years in the former town of Durham and 11 years here. July in '97, I was reading an article in the Durham Chronicle and saw regarding the existing Durham Council, and I made a comment to my wife, geez, a trained monkey could do better. She said, well, if you think you can do any better, put your name in. The most surprised person on election night was me, because I got elected the first time I ran, and her comment was, and I quote, okay, Bonzo, open your mouth and change feet. You're now one of the group. We have worked hard here for over the 11 years, and we've had a lot of fun, made a lot of good decisions. I'm sure a few of them people thought that we didn't make the very best decision, but we believe we did at the time what we did, and I have enjoyed it. I'm going to miss it, but I can come out and sit on that side and heckle you and wait till question period to get back at you, okay? But anyway, thank you very, very much.
Again,
I've
Dave,
enjoyed it.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Surprising that you would say about that you would sit out there and heckle me. You've sat there for 11 years and heckled me, so I don't know what the difference will be. No.
Just a little direction to change, that's all.
Again, I say congratulations and the best on your endeavors, and I know that certainly we will see you, and yes, you're always more than welcome to join us. And I think just with that, we're pretty much on time. Do you want to? Barbara's getting her jacket off there. We have one further delegation, and Barbara Nowak is on here. So Barbara, do you want to give us your presentation and/or?
It's actually Brian that will be speaking on my behalf, our behalf.
Could I ask, Brian, that you use the podium, because we are recorded, and have the microphone up there to help us out. So, Brian?
Brian, could you put your mic on, please? Thank you. Bottom right.
Right. No, there you go.
Tick, tick. Here we are. Testing, testing. Good evening, council members, and thank you for allowing us to present to you on this lovely evening. I'm Brian Henderson, and through you, Mayor Eccles, I have been asked to speak to council on behalf of our group of citizens who are concerned about local endangered species. We are a volunteer group committed to efforts to enhance local ecological restoration for the protection of endangered species, and would like to invite the municipality to partner with us on a provincially funded grant proposal that will help us to restore habitat conditions that could aid in the recovery of red-side dace. The grant is a what? It's another bloody acronym. It is Species at Risk Stewardship Fund. We'd like your partnership support in obtaining these provincial funds that will enable us to monitor and survey tributaries flowing through private lands located in West Grey. Our goals are common with many citizens of West Grey, and we have the support of the private landowners involved to carry out the necessary work on their properties. We'd like to highlight that these actions to support the recovery of red-side dace have the added benefit of making streams clearer and cooler, allowing for restoration opportunities for a number of stream-dependent species. Upstream riverbank restoration could reduce the amount of sediment washing into streams, thereby preventing sediment from impacting the ability of fish to find food or spawning habitat. Improvements to water quality have been shown to improve property values and contribute to the protection of biodiversity. Maintaining natural biodiversity and the interaction among species is critical in maintaining natural ecosystem functions, many of which provide substantial benefits to society, including improved air quality, removing carbon from the atmosphere, water purification, and erosion control. Should this proposal be funded, we will be presented with an opportunity for citizens and their local government to work together in a way that has potential to encourage tourism and build upon the economic returns realized from habitat restoration. Recreation and tourism have played an important role in sustaining the local economy for many years, and it is important that we continue to partner in efforts to protect and enhance the beauty and attraction that is nestled in nature, West Grey. To be eligible to receive funding through this grant, we must show that we have the support of an eligible partner to match the funds required for project implementation. Our environmental expert consultant is also a concerned citizen and has helped to develop our proposal and a budget for this initiative. We estimate the need for $15,000 in total, of which we are asking Council to commit $7,500. This would be an agreement in principle at this point, dependent on a successful application, the results of which will be made public next spring. And I'm afraid I have to add a note of urgency, given the fact that we've only just learned of this opportunity and that the deadline for the application is only 2 weeks away. We will need your decision tonight. Our group would sincerely appreciate the municipality's support in this initiative. We believe the project will provide large benefits to our community at a very reasonable cost. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Brian, would you take any questions at this point
I
in time?
certainly can. Do my best.
I thought you might. Be good too. Are there any questions at this point in time here? You've got our attention, Ms. Cuddy.
He's about to say something.
Okay.
I should add that we have also approached the Conservation Authority to see if they have an expression of interest. They have responded, and we're just in discussions right now.
Have they responded with positive?
Yes, positive noises, Mr. Mayor, at this point, but that's all so far, because I'm not sure they're quite clear on what we're doing. They responded by sending us a bunch of applications, one of which we're in the process of filling out. So we have to clarify with them what it is we're actually doing, but they're ready.
And they haven't had the opportunity yet to tell you how much money they were willing to put into this
That's
project.
right. We're hoping to do the whole 15K.
Very good. All right, John, Deputy Mayor Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brian, good presentation, thank you. I'm sure there are a number of us here are avid hunters and fishermen. Have you had correspondence with the M&R?
We're in the process of doing that. Is that right, Barb?
Yes, actually, I spoke to the woman who was responsible for our meeting today, and she gave us a bunch more guidance on how we should fill out the application and some information on the permits that we will need to get in order to move the application along, in order to be eligible in the application, and we're just moving it forward in that way. So we have been in touch with them, yes.
And one more question, the private landowners that are interested, are they willing to put up some funds themselves, or where do you've asked us for, just to clarify,
Yeah.
you've asked us for 7,500. I'm just wondering, where's the other 7,500 coming from?
It'll come from the province.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else? Councillor Lawrence. Carol?
Thank you. Brian, I just wondered, the $7,500 that the municipality would commit, could all or some of that be in kind, or is it all in funds?
It's all in funds at this point. Yep.
Anybody else? Bev, Councillor Cunningham.
Is there the opportunity to have a three-way, like 3 partners, like the province, let's say the municipality, but didn't want to commit that much, have another, like Saugeen Valley, for example? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely, that's a possibility, and it's something that we are working towards. We're, moves grinds a little slowly with the Saugeen Valley. I think we had to go contact another person as well, so there is that opportunity, absolutely. The application does look more favorably on the more partners that you're able to get, not even financially, but we also plan on approaching Ontario Streams, I think it's called, and Trout Unlimited. But whether or not they're going to be able to provide any funding, the application looks favorably upon having as many partners as possible. So it looks at more of a broad scale approach. Yeah.
Ducks Unlimited would be another one?
That's a good one. Actually, I never thought of that one.
Because
Okay.
they're very much involved in rehabilitation.
Okay, great. That's great.
Yep.
Any other questions? Go ahead, John.
After 4 years, there we go. There is a dam on Mew Creek. Have you considered looking at that and the effects of removing it or leaving it in place?
No, that would be a much bigger kind of project. We're looking at some of the other tributaries that go into the Upper Saugeen. That I think would need a whole other project to itself. That would be a big deal.
Mark? Clerk?
I guess I would just have a question. I gather this is likely an item that wasn't budgeted for in this year's budget. So the deadline, I gather, this year is December 10th. Would an opportunity be available next year if council wishes for the incoming council to discuss and deliberate on the request?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I just clarify? This won't be approved till the spring. So the request comes forward now. The request is for now, but it wouldn't be until next year's budget.
Right.
So that's part of the urgency. There's a deadline for them to know, do you have the partners? We can't really submit the application unless we have that commitment, and we only have 2 weeks. So while we may get in principle partners with some of the other organizations, we're not optimistic there's funds there. This is an application that we are putting forward because there is an opportunity for funds. It would be great to have their input and their involvement. We're not optimistic about funds to put forward. So for this to work, it would be in next year's budget that it would be planned for, but we ask this today so that we can meet the deadline for the application, which is I think about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Deadline.
Yes,
2.
December 10th, so it's
Just one question. On the application part of it, do you have to submit, West Gray's got $5,000 in, Saugeen Valley's got $2,500 in, or is it in this part of the application, it's in principle we're supporting it, and that you have the $7,500?
Yes, we
Yep.
do need to state the figure, but it is an in-principle thing. If we're not successful with the application, we won't find out about it until the spring. Obviously, we have no need for the money. The program isn't going to happen. So, but yes, we do need to clearly state that the commitment is there and what the amount of the commitment is.
Okay. John?
Last time I'll speak, Mr. Mayor, but I just wondered, correspondence with the MNR. Have they said that the red-side dace is a native species to that particular section of the Saugeen River that you're thinking about restoring?
Yes,
Because
that's most clear, actually. We have a map which we're working from, which shows 4 distinct areas where the red-side dace was present, and those are the 4 areas that we plan to focus on. We plan to survey those 4 areas with the help of our environmental expert consultant, and depending on where the results of those surveys, we will then pick an area and emphasize, like focus on that, whether it be habitat restoration, talking to the landowners, trying to improve the 30 meters on either side of the stream. But we plan on doing the survey first on these 4 locations that did show historical populations of red-side dace, yes.
I said I wouldn't, I said once more.
No,
That was
nobody
last-
on this side of the table believed you when you said it.
That was last time. Well, just going along with that, I'm just trying to, okay, pull up a little reasoning, I guess, in the back of my mind. Why, first of all, why the red side dace, recognizing that in the Saugeen River, I know that speckled trout is, for instance, not plentiful, or brown trout also. Just wondered why the red sided dace, recognizing they're a 3-inch little guppy.
Sure. The red-side dace is an endangered species, whereas the other ones are not. So this particular program is specifically for endangered species, and it's the only species for which we will get money for. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions at this point in time? How do we want to approach this? Now, you said it's very important for the next 2 weeks, but in the literature, I understand it's December the 10th is the application deadline?
3 weeks, is it?
Well, I'm thinking, wondering if, and we have a committee of the whole meeting November 24th, next Monday, a week from today. As we said, it would be absolutely new into our budget, and the Director of Finance is sitting here, and she doesn't like surprises when it comes that way. Yeah, she's a very beautiful lady and very, very pleasant until you give her a surprise like that. Then you can see. I'm kidding, but Carrie, is there any chance, if we were to look at it favorably, and to be able to put that figure in, if there are other, in the next week, doing some research, Brian, Barb, is there a chance of finding some partners out there that have, that may be funding opportunities?
There's certainly a chance. I wouldn't rule it out. I'm kind of new to this, so I don't really know how speedy organizations are towards handing out money, but we can try and see what we can do. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no harm in that, for sure.
And then that would still leave us from the 24th. We have a council meeting on, obviously, December the 1st. It could be, it's not a large agenda item for that inaugural session, but it could be something that, is approved coming forward from Committee of the Whole discussion and with a little bit more information.
Okay.
Or, a decision at that point in time with a bit more information, I think would be a lot easier for us.
Yeah, that would be excellent, actually. If you, in your deliberations, any of the questions that arise, if you could pass them on to us, we'd certainly be happy to sort of provide any more information that's required.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And at that point in time, as I said, the 24th, the meeting starts at 1 o'clock. Carrie or Mark, we haven't got the agenda done up yet, but maybe it's one of the things we could address. 1, 2, 3, be here if there was questions we had to bounce off you at that time, if your schedule is available.
Yeah. Yep, we can arrange that for sure.
Date book with you, okay?
Yep.
All right. We fine to leave it at that? Bev?
Just one comment. If you do have some organizations showing some favorable interest, even if it's not financially, but to support the project, could you let us know that?
Sure.
Because that also, whoever we're tying in with could help. So maybe just let us know if you do get a favorable letter of.
Great.
Okay? Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Barb? Excellent. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next item, Mark. Business arising from previous meeting. I don't believe we had any scheduled or noted. Then we're down to the Director of Finance, Treasurer's Report. And that would be Carrie. If you just give me a second to scroll down to it. I think the first one, obviously, is the approval of the vouchers. Are there any questions? We've had the vouchers were presented in the package. Any questions on the vouchers there? Seeing none, I'll introduce the motion then to approve. I had a motion moved by Mark Rapke and seconded by David Mollison. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 21, 2014 of the Municipality of West Grey in the amount of $421,389.72. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. The next one, Carrie, is the disposal of the council laptops. Anything other than your report there you want to comment on or ask us to make a decision with?
Just looking for some direction on how you want to dispose of them.
Yeah, can you buy them back? I think that's what Carrie is looking for. You know, to take, they're getting to the end. We have a schedule. Myself and the deputy mayor obviously use from the county, and they've worked very well back here. The county has a different disposal, but this is the first time, and Carrie's looking for our support. You know, if we would have to send them out, you got to get a hold of an expert to clean them, scrub them. Don't know what the right terminology, IT terminology is for that. Erase them all. And by the time you paid for that and whatnot, the computer itself is not worth that much. So Carrie, I think one of the suggestion in here is that the council set a price to offer them to the council members to purchase, and if not, use them internally as a backup. Bev?
I will actually need to continue to have my laptop because I need this to be able to read any agendas, and that's not going to work in the new USB. No, so I'd like to just keep mine because I'm going to have it with my key that's brought out to me by Ken, or I pick it up in order to be able to read
Are
agendas
you
and
ever
stuff.
close to some place where you have a hotspot where you could log on?
My husband? Oh, no, sorry. It's a different hotspot.
Oh, way too much
No, I don't
information in
have,
that
no, sorry.
answer.
Don't have a hotspot in the center of Glenelg. Well, maybe Mark. Does your house have a hotspot?
Well, we have cable where I live.
Oh, you have cable. Oh, gosh, you're even worse than I am. No, there's no hotspots in Glenelg, believe me. So this works great, though. I mean, the key works wonderful. I just need to keep the laptop in order to be able to read the agendas, et cetera.
Are you going to read an agenda on your phone?
Remember what we did last time? Remember that little technological
Oh,
thing I
yeah,
showed you?
that'll have to.
Yes,
That
yes.
might
I
work.
think there might be a way to work that, but we're not working on
No, we're not.
what we
No,
need to
but
go
I'm just
forward.
saying I'd
What are
like
we
to
going to
keep
do
mine.
with these? Looking for suggestions here, guys. Rob?
If you send these out to get cleaned up, everything's erased off them, can we have the option, can you set a price that you would feel would be fair, or looking at us? I don't know what these things are. I know a new one, what the cost of a new one is, but
Yeah, if you were going to retain them as a counselor, like if you're an existing, going to be you're returning, so I wouldn't touch it. If it's Dave, I would be deleting his email account that he
Yeah.
has with us, because Dave's not returning, but other than that, he would have deleted everything else on it. I wouldn't touch it, but if we're going to offer it up on a public website for sale,
Okay.
then we
So,
need to,
Like what Bev's saying,
remove
if she
it.
needs hers, and then
yeah.
I could use this one also, and plus the new one, we could just retain these.
If that's, yeah.
That's what I prefer.
Do you want Carrie to do a little research to find out what a price is and offer them that way? And secondarily, if it's not, if you don't want to purchase it, so we could probably use it as a doorstop. Thank you, Mark. One for the projector, if somebody has a PowerPoint presentation to plug in. But, yeah, they are getting, certainly I know this one from the county is getting very tired and slow. And the one thing...
I didn't say it, you did.
Yes, I did hear that.
He's leaving.
So how about we look at it that way and come at the committee of the whole, if we're fine with that, on how to dispose? All right. Third is number 3 and number 4 are OSIFA, OMAFRA grants, the OSIF and the SCF grant. We've got the letters back. The OCIF one, not successful. As Carrie has said here, the other one is on the connectivity, and we had entered into that one more of an expression for natural gas to head to Ayton and over to Newstead. And that component isn't available in partnership with the Municipality of Southgate, or the Township of Southgate. So those are just there for information. Anything else, Carrie? Good. Any questions of Carrie? She's still here? Carrie does have something. Go ahead.
There is a bylaw later on in the agenda for the loan to the Durham Cemetery for the columbarium that we had previously approved. So this is just, they've actually done the purchase now, but if there is any questions on that, but we had previously discussed it, but that is on here if there is any question.
Do you have any questions for Carrie on that bylaw while she's here? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay. That's, yeah, as you said, it's something that we had recognized earlier and had in the budget, and just getting the bylaw together for it. Okay, Carol?
What is doing that?
Sometimes if there's a police cruiser here, their radios interact with the hour. So I know we get sometimes your speakers on your computer.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's one in the parking lot, but sometimes those interact with our computer speakers.
Yeah, the radio,
because they're doing the same thing here.
My question is on the SCF grant, Carrie, if I might, and that the natural gas component is not eligible, but the other aspects of it are, and they ask us to change or amend our application. What else was there in there?
It was the fiber optic cable, like for internet. And
Right,
that,
so that is
that
moving forward.
portion is, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you, Carrie. Oh, Larry, anything further?
One more item of good news just before the treasurer departs. Late Friday afternoon, we received our OMPF announcement, and I must regretfully inform council that it appears we'll be starting with $346,000 less in the budget for next year than we had this year. So right off the bat, based on the cuts to the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, which is unconditional grant which the province provides to us to allow us for budgeting. So right off the bat, we're going to be starting with about a 6 or 7% decrease. Are my numbers fairly accurate, Madam Treasurer? She blinked. She must be agreeing with me. So
Yes, we knew that we were going to get a drop but, in that transition grant. Last year, Kerry, it was 270. My memory serves me right. That's about what it was last year. It seems that the province is clawing back a little bit more. Well, we've only got about 330 left in that discretionary, so they can, that's what we know that they'll probably claw back. They won't split that up. It'll be clawed back in 2016. So
That'd be $1 million in 3 years we lost, basically, all close to.
yes, yep. So on our side, I don't think, as we've said before, it's not the expenses that we have, it's the revenues that we're certainly missing. Okay. All right. Moving on. Director of Infrastructure and Public Works. Ken's got a few reports here. The first one is winter maintenance with the Municipality of Wellington North. And that 0.4 of a kilometer of Sligo Road that we share. It's pretty difficult to get a plow down there, so Wellington North has been doing that for us on their work in Mount Forest, and they've decided to renew it. Ken, you got anything else on there?
Yeah, the Township of Wellington North has again agreed to provide the winter maintenance on that particular road. This way it can be all maintained or plowed or sanded, whatever, at one time. We just have a 0.4 of a kilometer that is actually the boundary portion between the Township of Wellington North and the former Township of Normanby. So this certainly benefits West Grey to have them do it all in one pass.
Yep.
And then it's open at once, and it's a very reasonable cost.
And I mean, we've obviously have a few of these that we do. We do some for some municipalities where the boundaries cross around and where it's most convenient and to get the most effective out of the trucks and equipment. This is one, and we've had a good working relationship with Wellington North on this as well too. Okay. There's no questions on that for Ken. I have a motion that's moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of West Grey accepts the proposal from the Township of Wellington North to provide winter maintenance on the boundary portion of Sligo Road at an estimated cost of $1,280 for the 2014-15 winter season. Any questions on the motion? Call the question then. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Next one is the Grey County Transportation Master Plan. It's out here. Ken, have you got any thoughts on that?
Just that the most recent draft has been submitted to Grey County, and the Grey County Council have endorsed the circulation of the master plan to the lower tiers, and they are asking for comments and suggestions on how to move forward with the plan. It doesn't look like it's changed a whole lot. There's certainly, if they move forward with everything, it's going to have a tremendous impact on West Grey with the downloading of the bridges and all the roads that are suggested in the plan. So I would anticipate there'll be a lot more discussion on this, certainly when the new councils start into the new year and whatever. So, but we do, they are asking for comments, and I believe Mark did send out a copy of the draft plan to all councils. So perhaps in the committee of the whole meeting we can discuss it a little bit further just to see what we wish to send back, so.
It's a fairly heavy document there. I don't think the first time through at the first blush, you're not going to be able to catch everything that's in it. So I would encourage that, Ken, to, for council members to read up on it, get us some opinions. Was there a date to have comments back?
I believe it's in February sometime.
That's what I thought, yeah. It's not something that we absolutely need to rush into here, because I believe they're putting those together and whatnot and going out. No, these will be in conjunction with comments that are coming from public open house meetings, information meetings that they're going to have. And I thought they were talking about that in January, but don't hold me quite to that. Probably 4 or 5 information meetings around the county on this as well. Okay? So we'll get a little bit more of an update at Committee of the Whole on it. Backhoe purchase. We had that. Any questions for Ken on the report here? We tendered this in the spring and we're not favorable to what we had in our budget. We went back out with this RFP to see what was out there in the fall. There was some word that prices had dropped and might be able to come in, meet our specs. And I think, Ken, you found one and are recommending one for purchase here. Is there any questions on that? Seeing none, then I have a motion moved by Dave Molson and seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey accepts the price from Nortrax Canada Inc. for the 2014 310 SK John Deere backhoe and loader at a cost of $93,470, including the trade-in of a 1987 580K case backhoe loader. Any questions or comments on the resolution? Bev?
I didn't notice on here, Ken, what the hours are on it or anything like that.
Yeah, the one where the motion relates to has about 300 hours on it. It's a demo unit, and that's why it's at a reduced cost. We've
Okay, I knew it was a rental, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
If I could, Ken, just for clarification, the one we're trading in is about 6,000 or 7,000 hours?
Yeah, I believe it's 7,000 on it. Yeah, it's a 1987 model. It's been around a while.
It's served us well. It has served us well, but it's kind of like the computers. It's days of use are limited. Okay. Any other questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next one is the bridge inspection report, specifically the Kennedy Bridge report. Anything you want to update us on that one, Ken?
Yeah, every 2 years we have an engineer inspect our bridges, which is mandatory from the Ministry of Transportation. And when they come across this one, they first recommended that we reduce the load limit to 4 ton, but they're also recommending that we close it until it's we could decide what we're going to do with it. Certainly can't get a snowplow over top of it with their with the 4-ton load limit. So we have we're going to start, or I believe they were working on it today, maybe even building turnarounds on each side of the bridge so they could plow down to it. And we have notified the bus companies and whatever to that they can't go over top of it either. So the recommendation is from the engineer to close it to vehicle traffic. So that's where we're at here tonight.
Any comments or questions? And it did pass inspection 2 years ago.
Yes, it did. There was some minor work to be done on it, but it's certainly deteriorated since 2012, yes.
Went downhill pretty fast on us. And I know there's some go ahead, John.
I'm just wondering, Mr. Prentice has been doing these inspections for how long? Ken, has he been employed with West Gray?
This is probably at least about the fourth time we've hired him. Like every 2 years, it's mandatory to have it done, and this is about the fourth time, I believe.
And my point being, he's very familiar with the bridge and has that documentation every 2 years.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. I guess I have the authority to do this. I don't exercise it often, but I know that you individuals, there's a number of individuals in the audience here, are concerned about that and have a question or two, so I am going to allow it tonight from the audience. If you can please stand and give your name for Mark.
Dave's not going to hear it.
And if you could go, anybody that wants to speak, to the microphone.
I won't be that long.
Well, the reason being is we do have one individual on council that has, needs that assistance for hearing, and that would help out. Be the right black button there. There you are. You're live now, Dave.
Okay, thank you. The inspector, did he do a load test at all or just visual?
It would just be a visual.
Okay. Would you plan to do a load test at all?
There's nothing in his report that indicates we need one. He's very concerned about the condition of the steel underneath the
Okay.
bearing seats and.
All right. Now, are we not at a little bit of a risk if he has indicated that there shouldn't be any traffic on it, any vehicular traffic at this point? Like, why are we keeping it open at all then?
I'll have to get something from council to close it. That's why I put it on my report here tonight.
Well, that should be easy if that's his recommendation. Is that right?
I would hope the council would take that information into account when they do if we put a resolution forward here to vote on it, yes.
Okay. Now, we're here all just by word of mouth from one individual who has a bus turn in his yard. Do we understand the impact of closing this bridge? The total impact? Have we talked to the post office, ops? I don't know. I don't know. I'm blowing a little smoke here, but there are people there are businesses in the area that are impacted. Saugeen wheelchair, things like that.
The Saugeen Mobility and Regional Transit,
right.
They've altered their route, that they don't go across there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
they've been notified then?
Yes, they've been notified. The buses have been notified. Those are the two that I know of. I don't know whether we've notified EMS or not, emergency medical, the ambulance.
Fire and everything?
Fire,
yeah.
They've been. And this would not be the first time that this precedent has happened. 2 years ago, we had one down in Normanby that after the inspection report came in, it was closed, and the following spring, it was the following spring, that's where we put the prefab bridge in at that point in time.
I'm good if all our homework has been done. My concern, as I said, was if he has indicated that needs to be closed down, gee, that's an emergency thing. And I guess another thing is it's 4-ton limit, but people who've been going by there for 20 years don't look at that sign anymore. Sometimes we put brand new or light or something. I didn't even notice it, and I live on the corner there, so that could be a problem, because there was a tandem by there the other day who probably didn't notice it. So I'd be happy to live just on a cul-de-sac there. That's not what I'm getting at.
Yes, I know, and that's why it's here tonight.
Okay.
It's got to be done by council resolution to stop and close up the bridge. So
would you make a recommendation tonight? That's
I would
part
hope,
of what I'm
yes.
getting at as well,
Yes.
because everybody who has some kind of stake in this should be notified it's going to be, there could be a child on the other side of the bridge that can't, I don't know, but get what I'm saying? We have to look at all the people that are impacted first before we make a decision one way or the other, and a load test might resolve all our problems, I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm taking it from the, Mr. Prentice from WPS or WSP has carries a fair bit of weight and has been doing this for
Okay, I
quite
understand
some
that.
time.
I understand that. Visual inspection isn't the same, but
No,
I've kind of done that and been there, and we did load tests as a final kind of solution to the problem. But thank you.
okay, thank you. I would allow one more. Somebody else want to?
My name's Jim Metzger.
Yep.
Guess everybody was notified about us. I found out about this last night. I live in the affected area at the bottom of a hill. And when I turn and go east with my tool truck, which weighs about 19,000 pounds, I go up a hill. Tonight I had difficulty getting up with my car. I've been doing that for a long time. I simply go the other way and cross the bridge if I can't get up the hill. I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. And I understand if the bridge has to be closed, it has to be closed. That's understandable. If it's going to be a danger to vehicles crossing it, or heaven's sakes, a fish, then I understand it has to be closed. But will the road be plowed consistently as it has been? I leave at 7:30 in the morning. The buses are about the time the buses are around, and my concern would be not so much the closing of the bridge. If it has to be closed, it has to be closed. But having a turnaround available that if I can't get up the hill, I'm cooked, for the day, so I got to turn and go the other way, turn around someplace and take a run at the hill. And how far or how close to the bridge would a turnaround be? Or what kind of a run are we going to be able to get at it? That's my concerns. My neighbors have other concerns. And the consistency of plowing, because it's not a through road, would it be neglected to a degree? It is a concern. And that's the type of thing that I think is more important to answer. Like I say, if the road's going to be closed, or if the bridge is going to be closed, it will be. But will we have everything in place to make our lives carry on as normal? That's my questions.
I'm going to start off by saying, Jim, that it would certainly be my expectation, and I think council's expectation, that it would be as good or in consideration of what you're saying, because I don't, sometimes there is a bit of sand goes on that hill and sometimes there isn't. In this case, I would suggest, to Ken, we probably would have a truck, because I think it is a truck that goes down there and does that now, that, there would be more sand and or salt to identify the problem that you have coming up there. In the instance that I mentioned that we had 2 years ago, a resident said, Ken had made those adjustments to the route, and it was a bit of an inconvenience. And in this case, instead of just driving out to County Road 3, you will have to, come around, and instead of stopping at the Canadian Tire in Hanover, you're going to have to come out at Allen Park and take a run at it that way. But, I think that the winter maintenance will be as good, and I'm going to stop there before I get Ken into too much trouble and let him address.
Thank you. The other thing is the turnaround. If a plow would be able to turn around successfully, I'm quite sure that I would be able to. But there's not a real good spot down there right now for that. We've all been in that situation of getting up the hill. And I know a couple times it's been quite interesting, exciting, in fact. But
at my age, I don't need much more of that excitement, but I have been on a few of them.
So a substantial turnaround would be an absolute must to sort of complete that package. So if that could be taken into consideration and dealt with, like I say, this is winter's happening, and all of a sudden the bridge is closed, and holy smokes, the meetings tonight, are you going? Why?
Yeah.
So just those are a few of my concerns and our neighbors' concerns. So if we could take those into consideration, appreciate that.
Okay. Ken, have you got anything else you want to add on that?
Yeah, we'll certainly be building turnarounds for the plows. Like there'll be a plow coming from each end now, so we'll definitely have to make a turnaround so they can turn around, so.
And how far? Like down, it would have to go fairly close to the bridge.
Yeah, it'll have to be fairly close to the bridge
to
to
the
allow for the residents to
Yeah.
get out, so. We're in the midst of planning for that right now, so
Okay, thank you.
that's in the works.
I'd like to make a comment on that bridge.
You probably have more knowledge on it than anybody. Could you use the podium?
That bridge was to be put in 1989. And they spent all the money on that big bridge on the fourth, $500,000 more than it should. And the comment we got from Mr. Becker was that they were going to reroute the Saugeen River. Last spring, the river still comes down through our farm. And my dad's comment to him at the time was, Mr. Becker, he said, the Saugeen River is a lot smarter than the other one is. But how come this fall that they allowed the gravel trucks to go over top of that truck bridge? And this is what the interior did. The gravel trucks, tractor trailers.
Well, we were still working, I can say, we were working on the the report 2 years ago, the 2012 report, that it was a 20-ton bridge. I think it was 20 or 25 ton, I can't remember. Anyways, that's what we were working on. And
Gravel trucks went over
yep.
into the road and over they go. Now, I drove tractor trailer for 43 years. I know what to leave.
Yep.
Why? Why did they go?
Because at that point in time, as I said, we didn't know that the bridge was in as tough, and maybe that had some impact on the deterioration of the bridge. I'm only guessing at this point in time, but we didn't know the condition of it. From standing on top of it, you can maybe see that, but once you get down underneath, as Mr. Prentice has done in doing his report, there's a number of those supports, and the abutments, from what I understand, are in very tough shape as well too. I can see a head nodding behind you that, had we had that report, we probably would have closed it, whenever that report had come, and consider it then.
It can be upgraded a bit for the time being. I know
We could probably upgrade it for the time being, yes, but it would be closed for 2.5 months to do the upgrade.
Price of Johnson, they did the bridge, what we call the Tory Bridge. They were going to tear that bridge out. And my dad and them, they went to Price of Johnson and Walker, and they welded that bridge up and fixed it up, and it's still going. There was another comment back many years ago, my grandfather said to say that the men, when they're putting the cement button in that bridge, they run out of gravel, so they threw some more dirt in it. And that's where it's been. They've had trouble on it ever since.
Sometimes there's questions you shouldn't ask when you don't need to know the answers.
My grandfather was on the
Oh, yes. Okay. Any other questions from council on this? I believe Ken has a motion here and has been working on addressing the issues, him and the crew in Bentic and our road supervisor, Mr. Cook, on mitigating any impacts that closing this bridge would have.
Could they not use like a half-ton truck, like they use to feed your parking lot, clean that bridge through the winter, to let traffic at least go through? Not necessarily heavy equipment, trucks and stuff, but regular traffic.
Well, I think just the comment that Mr. Cowan made, yeah, we've got it on a 4-ton limit, but who actually, you know, how many trucks are going to come down there, no matter how many signs we have, and turn around and not cross it and go back?
There's a boat went across the other day. They know right, big aisle right there.
Yeah. So I think that's the more of the issue, having somebody go through it before winter's over, in my mind. Okay. I have a motion moved by Mark Rapke and seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the closure of the Kennedy Bridge at Lot 38, Concession 2-3, NDR Bentic, as recommended by George Prentice, Professional Engineer, Senior Civil Engineer, WSP Canada, Inc. Any questions or comments on the motion? Carol?
Not a question, and I understand. I mean, we can't take a chance of someone going through that bridge, but just to answer these questions, I guess for my own interest as well, there will be a turnaround and there will be sand put on that hill, that more so that these concerns are addressed.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to have turnarounds because we can't back out of there. So they're going to build turnarounds here this week, and I will address the sand with the Bentic Patrol so they can put extra sand there. So
Yeah, so it would be done on a more regular basis than we have in the past, because now we've closed that bridge.
yeah, we can.
Thank you.
I'll speak to them about that.
Okay. Any other questions on the motion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. We'll need a bit more signage down there to, so nobody slides down the hill and hits those Jersey stones that we'll put up to block the bridge off, Ken. Very good. Okay. Ken, your next report is on the East Durham entrance and heavy load permits. This is as a result from the October 31st court proceedings. And do you want to say anything towards those, Ken?
Yeah, Mark has handed out the agreements for the oversized overload permits and the entrance permits for the wind turbine project. Certainly, he was working until 6 o'clock to get these out of here. So it's kind of been a busy afternoon for him. So, but he has completed the agreements for the wind turbine project for the oversized load and the entrance permits.
And we've done this within a reasonable time, and hopefully under the direction from the judge on the October 31st court proceedings. I think it's been done in a, maybe I've used the wrong word, not a reasonable time, but a expedient time to be able to get these developed and I think we followed what the judge had to say that day, and are absolutely, in my mind, very reasonable. The context or the content that's in those permits. There's no other questions on the permits. Mark, do you have a motion to? Yeah, go ahead.
I just will note a couple minor amendments that will likely be made if council approves the resolutions to the existing oversized permits and entrance permits. On the maps that were attached to or forming part of the oversized permit, council has, or at least the representatives that have gone over the agreements, have indicated that there should be a notation made on the map saying that the alternate Route 2 is not approved. So that would be an amendment to the oversized permit if council deems it appropriate. And then for both the oversized and the entrance permit, it was indicated an appropriate amendment would be concerning the demand to be made at the bank. That would be noted about a local branch being added to that clause. So if council is agreeable, those amendments would be made in consultation with the solicitor.
Okay. Which way are you going to pass these? One each way? Go ahead. You got one other thing you want to mention, Mike?
I will also note that in the entrance permits, forming part of tonight's discussion, that there are both in Schedule 1 references to the temporary entrance drawings, and then Schedule 3 for the permanent entrance drawings. Those aren't shown in the existing hard copies we have tonight, but they will be incorporated into the approved agreements. Each permit for each entrance permit.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Mark, the ones that you handed out to the audience on the entrance permits, they have 5 Schedule 3s in there.
Yes, that's true.
Each permit would have 1 Schedule 3. I mean, we've just incorporated them all in there.
To make 5 copies.
Yeah. Okay, I've got this, the first one is on the entrance permits. I have it moved by Rob Thompson and seconded by Don B. Marshall. Whereas the permits applied for by East Durham Wind Inc. could not have been issued under the municipality's applicable bylaws and policies as of the date East Durham made the application therefore. And whereas by order of the Divisional Court, the municipality was directed to issue the entrance permits and the permits pursuant to Section 110 of the Highway Traffic Act, oversized permits to East Durham Wind. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the following industrial entrance permits as amended. 1. East Durham Wind LP, applicant, James and Beatrice Black, owners, PIN 3723-80200, Lot 25, Concession 4, NDR 384612, Concession 4, former Township of Canal. 2. East Durham Wind LP, applicant Bradley Watson, owner, PIN 3722-90144, Lot 20, Concession 1, SDR 403854, The Glen Road, former Township of Canal. 3. East Durham Wind LP, applicant Alfred Saunders, owner, PIN 3722-90171, lots 21 to 23, Concession 2, NDR, former Township of Canal. Turbine 1. East Durham Wind Inc. applicant. I think that one should say LP as well too. If I can, owner or the mover and seconder fine with making it LP the same as everybody else. At least that's what the name is this week. They change it on occasions. East Durham Wind LP. Applicant Alfred Saunders, owner, PIN 3722907171, lots 21 to 23, concession 2, NDR, former Township of Gwinnett, Met Tower. 5, Eastern Wind LP, applicant Patrick McMillan, owner, PIN 3722901888, lot 30, concession 2, NDR, 553668 Glenelg Road, former Township of Glenelg. Is that sure that it should be Glenelg Road? I guess, yeah. Glenelg Road 23, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that road. That's Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, if, fine, I just want to put that in there so, because I don't think we just have a Glenelg Road. Glenelg Road 23, former Township of Glenelg. 6, East Durham Wind LP, applicant Kenneth and Carolyn Leith, owners, PIN 37239074, lot 31, concession 1, NDR 404269, Gray Road 4, former Township of Glenelg. 7, East Durham Wind LP, applicant Daniel and Beverly Cudney, owners, PIN 37239100, lots 48 and 49, concession 2, SDR 304599, South Line, former Township of Glenelg. That's it for the resolution. Questions, John? Councillor
You
Eccles.
said Ken Leaf?
Yes.
Is it Kenneth Doug?
No, it's not, it's Kenneth Douglas. Yeah.
Okay.
The first time? Exactly, that's all I've never known him to, but his real name is Ken. Yes. Yeah. Anything else? Very good, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Declare that carried. Yeah. The next one is the policies, or the permit for oversized overweight. I have a motion moved by Mark Rapke and seconded by David Mollison. Whereas the permits applied for by East Durham Wind, Inc. could not have been issued under the municipality's applicable bylaws and policies as of the date East Durham made the applications therefore. And whereas by order of the Divisional Court, the municipality was directed to issue the entrance permits and permits pursuant to Section 110 of the Highway Traffic Act, oversized permits to East Durham Wind, Inc. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grady hereby approves the requested annual oversized load authorizations attached hereto as amended. The mover and seconder, in the second paragraph, it says pursuant to Section 129 of the Highway Traffic Act, oversized permits to East Durham Wind, Inc.
It does in both spots there. It needs to be.
That's how they were applied for. That's, I asked that.
Oh, okay, okay. So it'll probably be issued to East Durham LP. All right, just to be clear on that. Okay. And all of the oversized applications with the drawings and the attachments, specific truck weights are attached to the resolution. Any questions on this resolution? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. There we are, Mark. And I thank the council members for that were on that committee, Bev and Carol and Deputy Mayor Bell, for helping us out and spending an inordinate amount of time on trying to satisfy and understand the court's direction on getting these permits in place. Anything else, Ken?
That's all I have at this time.
Okay, any questions for Ken? Oh, sorry, Bev, Councillor Cuddy?
I just wondered how our budget's going for winter.
It's okay, Ken.
I'll get it.
I can try that. Okay.
Our budget for winter, we're probably about $25,000 over
Already.
right now. Yeah.
I know it was terrible last year going into this year, so we're at 25,000. It's the middle of November.
We have tried to compensate some of the summer projects, cut back on certain areas to compensate for that. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll be in
Budget out.
in pretty good shape. Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Ken.
Okay. All right. Nice part about it is, nice thing about rain is it's supposed to come near the end of the week, so it'll take the snow away and we won't need to worry about it for another couple of days, Ken.
Yeah, that's sometimes okay, but instead of plowing the roads, you're grading them, so it's...
I know. Yeah. Okay. All right. There's nothing else then? Oh, Ken, go ahead.
Just, Councillor Lawrence did mention that the walkway bridge is now in the Lions Park in Newstead, sitting there for the winter, and we'll do some work on it in the spring and get it set on the abutments once the good weather becomes in the spring. So it's we got it here anyway. That's the main thing.
And we probably would have had it here a little earlier, but there was a bit of a delay with getting the oversized permit from another municipality. So these permits are pretty difficult to just roll out.
Yes, there was a bit of an issue getting the permit from the region of Waterloo to move it. I know there was a holiday last week, but it did get delayed somewhat. So,
well, good work it is here now, and that'll be great for the trail system and the walking and just be that added extra for the park, the Lions Park, as it's commonly known in Newstead. Go ahead.
Just to remind everyone, the bridge was paid for by the Newstead Recreation. Did not come from the levy.
Thank you. Okay, Mark. Yeah. If there's nothing else, then Ken, we'll go down to the clerk's report. Mark, got a couple of things for us.
So council had requested to get a legal opinion on the ownership of Sadler Street East in Durham to determine if it does extend through to the concession road. And in fact, you'll see Solicitor Jennifer Schwass's letter that does indicate, accompanied by a map or a sketch, that the municipality does own through to the concession road. The second part of that, we're also to get a legal opinion on regarding Park Street, the unopened road allowance. Unfortunately, Ian Johnson, our solicitor, was away on vacation last week. He hopes to get something back shortly to us, so that will likely be perhaps a closed session discussion at a later date in response to another lawyer's opinions.
Okay. Comments? Carol, Councillor Lawrence?
Well, I just wondered if any meeting has been held. It was directed, what, 2 meetings ago when Paul Arnell was here, that someone from the Snowmobile Club and the council and Paul meet to discuss this alternate route. Has that been done?
Not to my knowledge. Unless
And
there's
who was
been
to
another
arrange
council.
it? I thought we, as a council or staff, were going to arrange that because somebody from council was also to be attending. You know,
I think before we were going to have the meeting, we wanted to have a legal opinion, would it have the meeting and not know,
Right,
where's the
okay.
chicken and the egg? Now we know we own Sadler Street. You know,
I mean, it needs
I
to
have
be,
some concerns with it, but
but at least the meeting needs to take place and, concerns talked about and whether or not it's possible, but, that part should be looked into at least. Like, I don't know if anybody's even looked at the road behind Rockwood Terrace, but that's where in the area of his land that is zone development.
yeah.
It's not extraction, that was where he was suggesting. Like, has
Some of this-
anybody walked it or,
Not to my knowledge at this point in time. Don?
I believe the preferred route for the snowbalers is on our road allowance. They don't want to go down Sadler Street in that way. They want to go down our road allowance. They're prepared to put culverts in that ditch. And I believe that's all they have left to do, is to put culverts in and put gravel over top of it, and they'll be away. So I'm not sure why we're being helped on this, unless there's a legal opinion from the MNR that says we cannot, that Paul Arnell is owner of the gravel underneath our road allowance.
Yes, go ahead, Larry.
Your Worship, I was asked to contact Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. I contacted the individual who wrote that letter that was in the package provided by Mr. Arnell. They were away on holidays. They contacted me last Friday and left a message that they're back in the office and to give them a call. I just have not had time, based on other pressures that we've faced in the last few days, to follow up with them. I intend to follow up with them and report back as soon as I can.
Mark?
Just without going into specifics, I would recommend that council waits to get an opinion from Ian Johnson. He does have some comments he wants to make to council regarding Park Street.
Okay. Well, let's contact, yeah. Will we have a time for committee of the whole? Yes, okay. Let's let's put it together then and get a hold of the Snowmobile Club and see if we can get something set up with them. Whom from council would like to, if we can get something set up with Mr. Arnell and the Snowmobile Club and ourselves? Well, the rest of this week, I can tell you Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is the Police Labor Conference, OEPSB's Police Labor Conference. And no, Bev's not going, but you're looking at the chair of the conference. So I think it's pretty hard for me to slip away from this one to get there. So it's going to have to be, if we're going to meet this week and have a discussion. Now, maybe the Snowmobile Club, what we can do. So I'm saying I'm backing away unless somebody else wants to volunteer here. We'll get something scheduled for the following week when we're all taking training at the county. Let's see what we've got from Committee of the Whole, which is a week today. We could have the information from Mr.
Yes, from Mr. Johnson.
Johnson's information on Park Street. And that will direct us further. Okay? All right. Yep. Okay. The next one, Mark. Looking for council's direction on passing as a municipal event Any questions or comments to Mark? Any of us on this? Rob, John, who wants to go first?
Well, I guess
Maribel.
we each got a comment. I have a bit of a problem with this, recognizing that I guess our other community events, the ones that we've passed to be of municipal significance, include, shall we say, members of the community who put their long hours in to try to make an event better for that particular municipality. And I'm speaking of the people in Newstead, a ball tournament in there and a ball tournament in Ayton. And for this one particular business that is going to profit without anything going back into the community, other than renting the arena, I just can't quite support that in that same context as I would those other events. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Rob?
A little bit of problem with this, and I agree with what Deputy Mayor Bell is saying, but if they're waiting on this municipality to give them the paperwork necessary for a liquor permit, they're too late. They 30 days, and they want this on December the 7th. And I had a conversation with one of the ladies that goes to this, and last week, and she got quite upset with the fact that I said, we really don't need that. If you want to apply for a liquor license, we don't do that for any other sporting events. You want to apply, you go ahead, but I don't think you need the municipality's resolution to support this. I mean, there's nothing coming back to the municipality other than rent from the arena. It's all for this guy. And knowing this gentleman that's hosting this quite well, I wouldn't want to get involved in it.
So how does council want to? Okay. I mean, it is it's a business, I guess, a function in the community, but they do it for a profit. It's not like it's a volunteer organization that's coming in here. The next thing, are we going to support Stag and Does? You know, that's a significant. So how do we want to deal with it? We have.
Just receive for information, I think. We don't need to. We don't need to do anything.
Well, I think
Go ahead.
No, I think there should be a letter returned to the gentleman, while saying that council is not in favor at this time of his request. And you don't have to get fancy, leave it at that.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think we should also just suggest that they apply for a permit. Like, and that council doesn't feel that it is like an event a significant event to the community. It's a good event, but it's not any different than many private functions that are put on, which is a permit, an SOP. Pardon me?
So they've already applied according to the information prior to this, and I was reading this letter, they needed this for the permit. Well, they're too late. It's 30 days to get the permit. So,
Yeah, it's typically 30 days. I know they've been talking to, first of all, Hanover and now Durham about the license. So whether or not they've been noted saying if you get approval tonight that it's fine, but
yeah.
I'm being told by them and by our facilities manager that they need this resolution of support and declaration of municipal significance to get the license.
Yeah, I've had that conversation last week, and I said you don't need it, but anyways, they got upset. So I don't think you do, but anyways, they can still apply for a liquor license. Whether they get it or not, that's not up to us.
Did we? No, the Thundercats don't. no. I'm, yes, there is, yeah, there's something about having that municipal significance. Right. You know, 2- and 3-day festivals type of things, you know, ball tournaments or something of that nature. No, there's, you know, there's not significance. Well, that's what I'm thinking, but apparently somebody is telling them that they need to have, to be able to get this, they need the municipal significance. But, I mean, okay?
Scratch my head because I can't remember doing it once like this before.
Yeah, I don't remember ever having us do one, and I know that we had boxing matches, and I'm almost positive that there was, you know, alcohol there at that night, and
And that was actually out of the activities.
yes, yes. You know, it's one evening show. Maybe what this is indicating is that, yeah, licensing the facilities would be a considerably better idea. Okay, any other questions for Mr. Turner? Hmm? Don't know. Yeah. Okay, well, there's no other questions. Let's move along then. Mr. CAO, Larry, your report here is on the electronic sign.
That would be correct, Your Worship. You will recall that I did bring this report to Council. Council recommended that I take it back to the Economic Development Committee for direction. The Economic Development Committee met on November the 10th, and out of that meeting, recommendation was made that the Economic Development Committee recommends to Council that we proceed with the purchase and installation of a tricolor dual-sided LED information sign with protective covering and surge protector for placement at the West Grey Municipal Office, with funds to come from the Economic Development Reserve Fund. Now, as we know, that's a recommendation from the Economic Development Committee. They did not specify what size, but I was asked to bring this back to this meeting, and I look for Council's direction on how they wish to proceed with the recommendation from the Economic Development Committee.
Any questions or comments for Larry on this? The three-sided, or the three-colored 20, 30.
It was recommended that we go with the tricolor rather than the monochrome or the full color. The full color requires really a technical wizard to be able to program it to maintain and update the sign on a regular basis. Our intent was to keep it as simple as possible and keep the messages as simple as possible, and that it would show up quite nicely if we had just the three colors to be able to use. Plus, it's less power usage, plus it's less maintenance, and we get the same or even longer duration of period for that to last, which is why the options here are just the sizes of the sign itself, Your Worship.
Yep. Okay. Any other comments? Deputy Mayor Bell.
Yeah, just one. We have here the three sizes. Obviously, they're all the same width of 91 inches. I just can't remember. I think we were talking mainly about the 35-inch one, weren't we? The one in the middle of this package? Refresh my memory.
It was not clarified at the meeting. I know we were talking about the tricolor sign, but I just wasn't sure which size. I don't believe a decision was made, so I looked at Council for direction on how they wish to proceed. Mr. Vice, or Mr. Deputy Chair.
So you were at the meeting. I mean, I made the motion, and I was thinking it was the middle one as well, too, that we would move towards 35 by 91. John?
For $2,000, you're gaining 4 inches of space. The bigger the sign, the easier they are to read, especially at highway speeds, even though that's not highway speed out here, it is. I've been looking at these things for months as we've been pondering this, and the sign in Hanover, is horrible in front of the library. They put too many lines on it. It's small. Even at 30 or 40 kilometers an hour, you can't read the sign. For $2,000, 4 inches is a good deal.
Okay. John, Deputy Mayor Bell.
Well, I know I'm in support of this, and I'm in support of moving this along. We've looked at this for about 6 months now, and I guess, pardon me? Yeah. Oh, okay. No, with this, I have believed, and say my reasons for it, I think there's been a disconnect in terms of information getting out to the public. There's a very busy highway between Durham and Hanover where most people go either once a week or twice a week or whatever. This is something that can advertise 24/7 if we choose to do it 365 days of the year, unless we want to shut it off between 2 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the morning, we have that option. Eunice can operate this right off her laptop, right at the front of the desk, and change it every day or every 2 days, whichever we wish. I think it needs to promote community events. Doesn't matter if they're in Ayton, Newstead, whatever, but we have a great deal of exposure here, and I think we should use this.
That would be the largest one.
That's the big one. Okay. There's no other comments, so wait till the motion comes forward.
Be option 3.
That'll be 3, 40 inches. Okay, I have a motion moved by John A. Bell and seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the purchase of an electronic information sign from Cox Signs for placement at the municipal office at an approximate cost of $43,305 plus HST to be funded from the Economic Development Reserve. Any questions on the motion? Don, Councillor Marshall.
I'm going to say again, at the very least, we should be putting this off because it wasn't in this year's budget. We should be putting it off until we can beat this around the budget deliberation table for the new year. And we just heard tonight that our own funding is being cut by a huge amount. We're closing a bridge and we're putting up a sign. And I know the money is not coming out of the Public Works Department, it's coming out of the Economic Development Reserve. But it's still taxpayers' money, and I think we should have more discussion over the budget of where the money is being spent.
Bev? Councillor Cunning?
But, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but we couldn't take that money out of economic reserve and use it to fix the bridge anyways. Like, that wouldn't be allowed, so, and it's not, you can't put it towards the funding, reducing our, the deficit that's going to occur because it's in a reserve for economic development, so, and what's in that reserve, like 100 or 200 and something thousand? 330,000, but it has to be used specifically for that, so it's not, I know it's taxpayers' dollars, but it's been designated for a specific thing. It's not like we can take it out and say, oh, there's our 330 that we're losing from the We can't do that. So, I don't know.
Did you have a comment, John? Deputy Mayor
Well,
Bell?
yeah, and that goes along with something what Councillor Cutting has said. this is a separate identity, shall we say. This is economic development. That fund is to be used for economically developed, forward-minded, progress-making ventures. And I guess as the Economic Development Committee, chaired by Mr. Rapke, you know, we identified this as something that could work and could benefit the community from an economic and development and I guess an advertisement point of view that could definitely advertise things in all parts of the municipality. And yes, it can go out here. It can be looked after very simply, very easily. I've seen a number of these signs around, and Councillor Eccles probably has too in his travels. They work. They are noticed. This is a tri-colored sign. I mean, how many more tickets? And this is the funny thing, I guess you never know the measure. How many more tickets could they sell down at Crab Fest in Newstead? Or how many more people could you get to come to the Santa Claus Parade in Durham? We don't know because of advertising. We used to have a paper that was very community-minded here, came out every week, that people knew what was going on. But I honestly do believe that we don't know a lot of things in the community. I don't know how many times I've looked at, say, a dinner of somewhere that, you know, we forgot about, didn't have marked down, didn't read about, because I don't read the paper as much as I used to either. But if you're driving through here and you see some, jog your memory, phone such and such a number to get tickets. Well, I think we can accomplish all that. And I think it's important, I really do.
Don, go at it again.
I don't think we can use the money from economic development to pay for the bridge, but I think we can borrow from economic development, from that reserve, to pay for the bridge, to pay them back. So we're still using our money, our own West Grey money, to do the bridge.
Well, I guess, first of all, Don, we're going to have that conversation as to whether we're going to replace the bridge. We haven't even done that. We've closed a liability, but we haven't even decided if we're going to replace it. So if we wait on this project to look after that other project, I'm not sure how far down the road that's going to be, because that's not going to happen overnight. And that is something that we'll have to wait for budget and or a couple of reports as to whether we are or not going to fix it or replace it. So I'm just putting that out there. And of course, like I say, this is economic development. It's not public transportation.
John, Councillor Eccles.
For the last 4 years, we've had conversations around this table about how much land's for sale in West Grey and is there any, how do people ever know about it? Well, I'll tell you that there's 4 parcels of land for sale in Brockton because they advertise it daily on their signboard at the top of the hill going into Walkerton. I know what's for sale in Walkerton because I drive past and I can see it on the sign.
Mark, Councillor Rapke.
Well, to follow up on that, there's one, it's for the library on Highway 10 in Flesherton, the new library. I can tell you they have e-reader classes available because when I drive by it just catches my eye. I have no interest in them whatsoever, but the point is that the signs do work. To some of the other points, we've been talking about a sign, I think since I first started on council about 4 years ago. I definitely agree we need one. I'll have to say personally, the amount of money is the part that I'm having the struggle with, because I didn't think we would get up into the $40,000 area. That is the part I'm struggling with. I'm not struggling with the point of whether we need it or not. I think it's a good idea. And I guess on that point, I'll follow up a little on what Councillor Eccles mentioned at the top. You're probably better to plan for the future or go big and go home, kind of what you were paraphrasing there, John. So I know the struggle in my mind, like again, I think it's as Deputy Mayor Bell was saying, I think it's something that would be of a great deal of benefit. It's something we should have to advertise. I'm struggling with the amount of money, but the money is there in the Economic Development Fund, and I do think that it'll help with economic development in the area. So, you know, personally, I'm going to support this one because I think in the long run it's something that will be out here and it will help the community.
Okay. Carol, Councillor Lawrence.
Well, my only concern is the location. And I realize you're putting it here because the staff is here and so on, but I know this road is busy, but a lot of it is people going back and forth to work. And I like what John was saying about Eccles, as far as, yes, it's good to promote dinners and that, but better to promote land for sale and that sort of thing, economic development. And is this really the right spot? I mean, number 6 is a lot more people going through.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not talking about traffic count, because I know this is a heavy traffic count, but it's almost the same traffic all the time, is what I'm saying. You get, number 6, you get people coming through every weekend. I'm not comfortable with spending that much money and putting it out here. I like the idea of the sign, and I like the idea of promoting, like, our land for sale and that sort of thing, but it's an awful lot of money to put out here, and the same people are going to see it every day. That's my concern.
Well, where do you put it? Where is the right spot? I mean, that, right here, the big thing is we looked at it even closer into town or some other place. Now you're remote, and you've got to take a laptop to change it. That was the big, to me, that was one of the big ideas of having it here, because now you can change it literally within minutes from right here. Once you step away from this office or a municipal building where you've got, staff that would be able to do it, now you've got to put staff in a car and drive down, get the remote connection. It can be done, but you've got to get the remote connection and everything to change it. And it wasn't recommended by the company to go that way. They said, yeah, it's more expensive, we'll probably make a bit more money on it, but he said, when you've got it right here, this would be the best location.
I guess the priority is, so not where it's the best location for staff to change the sign, but where's the best location for the traffic going through to see it. Like, to me, that's what you should put your decision on, not where it's most convenient to change it.
Well, I didn't say that that was the reason, but what I said was that, makes it sense. I'm not in agreement with you in saying that, how much traffic goes by here is larger on the traffic count. You've got some that is going up and down, Highway 6, but there's more and more that are going, east and west on here as well too. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not maybe as much in the summers, but there are in the winter. Going to the blue. It was one of the things that's been found is how are they getting to the blue? And it's not as much anymore about north-south in Grey County as it is east and west on that tourism. So that's why 40 is such a big problem.
Grey County better get some sand and salt and county roads so that there are no people coming through.
Yes. Yeah, we've had that conversation, but let's get back on to, maybe we can put that on the sign out here. Grey County, come, take the snow off of 4. Don.
Ask for a recorded vote, please.
Yep. I did put in here, the mover and seconder are fine with it, just at the end, to be funded from the Economic Development Reserve and as recommended by the West Grey Economic Development Committee. That's where that came, I put it in here in my handwriting, and it's not a heck of a lot better than Mark's, but I can read mine.
Deputy Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Councillor Cutting? Yes. Councillor Eccles?
Yes.
Mayor Eccles?
Yes.
Councillor Marshall?
No.
Councillor Mollison?
Yes.
Councillor Rapke?
Yes.
Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
I think you forgot Councillor Lawrence.
Oh, Councillor Lawrence.
There's a person down at the end there.
And the answer is no.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, I'll declare the motion moved, 7-2. That is carried. Sorry, last question, Mr. Bell?
Just last comment, it was identified at the time that this, if this did go ahead, and I guess we've passed this now, but they wanted to start and put some footings in for this sign this fall if possible. So going with that, does that upset anybody if we move ahead with that?
Get her done.
Since it's been, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
I would hope that we could get it done in a reasonable and expedient manner. It's been approved, that it doesn't take as long to get it built as it did to get the motion passed the 4 years that it's taken us to get the sign passed. Okay. The next one on here, Larry, was your pedestrian bridge from Newstead. We've had an update from Ken on that. I don't think there's anything else we need to comment on. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, then that, is there any questions for Larry? Or CEO? No? Then I think we, sorry, go ahead, Carol.
I'm not sure that the CAO is the right person or whether you've been involved, but I did bring up at 2 meetings ago about getting the agreement with Brockton with regard to the Ellenwood Community Center Board amended, and I'm just wondering if anything's been done on that or if there's any further word.
Yes, Mark's got an update for us on that.
I can report that I did send a letter addressed to the attention of the CEO, just explaining the conversation Mayor Eccles had with Mayor Inglis on the requested amendments. That was direction of council to get a letter sent to Brockton so that they would provide some feedback. I haven't got any feedback yet. That was sent probably within a day or two of the meeting, that letter, after the meeting.
We'll do a follow-up and I would,
Maybe with the carbon copies of the mail.
yep. And then recommend it before the end of the year, get it done. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No, this is 77. You guys want to?
I got 77.
Yeah. So wait, I don't have 77. Does somebody want to?
I'll explain that one.
Yeah. Bylaw number 77 is coming forward, and Mark has an explanation for us on that.
This was dealt with by the West Grey Planning Advisory Committee at their meeting earlier this month. At the time, there were some concerns expressed by the Grey County Planning Department, so it was deferred. Any position on the matter was deferred by the West Grey Planning Advisory Committee. But subsequently, there was a meeting with the Grey County Planning Department, and we have been advised that they are now withdrawing their concerns. So I did speak to, I know at least the mayor, and it was felt appropriate because of time constraints to get this on the agenda. So I certainly am recommending that it would be approved, and hopefully the Planning Advisory Committee concurs. There weren't any other concerns addressed at the public meeting for the McAvoy zoning.
Yep. Okay. So with that information, as I said, bylaw number 77 doesn't have a recommendation, but it doesn't. There's no concerns from the planning committee now that we have the comments from the county that they are fine with it. So it's moving forward here on the McAvoy. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting and seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that bylaw number 77, 2014, being a bylaw to rezone lands described as Part Lot 56, Concession 2, EGR, Geographic Township of Gunnell, McAvoy, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Are there any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. The next one is bylaw number 78, and this one is to enter into a funding agreement for the purchase of the columbarium with the Durham Cemetery Board. I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall, seconded by John Eccles. Be it resolved that bylaw number 78, 2014, being a bylaw to authorize a loan to the Durham Cemetery Board for the purchase of a columbarium for the Durham Cemetery, and to enter into an agreement for repayment of said loan, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this bylaw, on this motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Sorry, new business. Direct motion. Mark?
I do have a bylaw for entertainment by council if it agrees to entertain it as a direct motion. It would be a bylaw 79 of 2014 to confirm the proceedings of council. Basically what it does is it confirms that basically any resolutions that were passed, including tonight's meeting to the first council meeting in January of this year, are deemed in essence being bylaws. It was recommended to do that given some of the resolutions that have been passed, including tonight's resolutions. So if council agrees to that, I'll provide a copy of the bylaw.
Okay. Any other motions, notice of motions? Yes. Oh, yes, I need, I would like to introduce a notice of motion. It came to my, it should have been done in the 1st of September. It was a 6-month job appraisal for our CAO. And because it was heavy into election season, I talked with Larry and said, we will put this off until the election is over and we can kind of put our minds to it. What I would like is a motion directing a committee of 3 to sit down and interview Larry and basically do his job, not basically do his job performance appraisal with Larry. I would recommend that the committee, in my notice of motion, I would like the committee to be, am I doing that right, Mark? Be the mayor and the deputy mayor and Councillor Thompson, if that would be so entertained. So with that, that is my notice of motion. I want to bring forward. And with the, yeah, job appraisal subcommittee. Okay. I'll need 2/3 majority of council to introduce those 2 notices. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. I have more than the 2/3. So Mark, if you can send those bylaws out for us. The bylaw, the confirming bylaw, will be the first one we address, and then the second one will be a committee. Hmm? Yeah, sorry, of a direct motion, correct. So we can get this going. Okay. packet. Should get this one for the bylaw.
Is that the 2/3?
Yes, yep, we voted and we have the 2/3. Matter of fact, I had, it was unanimous. The first notice of motion was under the confirming bylaw. Moved by John A. Bell and seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 79, 2014, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Corporation of the Municipality of West Grey, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this bylaw that Mark has passed out? The one thing that I can say is that it may be something that we want to do on an annual basis. I know that it's done at the county, and usually we do it, so it's...
We did this.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're continuing on with that it just gives that confirmation and basically housekeeping for the year's work. Okay? If there's no questions on the bylaw, then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. There we are, sir. The next direct motion was dealing with the subcommittee, job appraisal subcommittee. Have a motion moved by Mark Rapke and seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby appoints the following members of council to the CEO, deputy clerk, job appraisal subcommittee: Mayor Eccles, Deputy Mayor Bell, and Councillor Thompson. Is there any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay, closed session. Don't believe we have any. So there'll be no matters arising. Question period. At this point, we offer 2 minutes for anybody to ask any questions that are in the audience pertaining to anything on the agenda this evening. Mr. Hutchison.
I have a question. Just after talking to the party regarding the Kennedy Bridge, one of the concerns was mentioned, I think it's come up since that time, about, we mentioned about replacing the bridge, what was going to happen. It's going to be closed, but there was no discussion about will it be replaced. So I would hope in looking at the next budget that maybe that would be something that should come up in a discussion regarding whether that bridge is going to be replaced and how much it's going to cost.
And I can say that Ken has started to look at that. The guesstimate from the engineer that looked at it, Mr. Prentice, was believing it would be somewhere in the $1 million, maybe 1.2, depending on, is it a 2-lane bridge and everything like that, but he was thinking somewhere between 1 to 1.2. The one factor that that would be more of a conventional steel or cement, steel enforced. The last bridge that we replaced was the prefab bridge down on the base line. So, was done prefab, and Ken hasn't contacted Guardian Bridge, his sole contract, to find out about that, Doug. So we'll probably have that coming up, and it will be addressed forward.
I just don't know much out of that he now works in Hanover, he's getting to Hanover, so now he's got to go all the way around to get to work. So it is a convenience.
Yeah.
But I understand the liability.
I think it was understood. And yeah, it's an inconvenience, but the cost of the bridges that we have out there, we've really got to look at it, and those have been discussed previous. So, thanks, Doug. Don, any questions? Nothing you want to put on record, eh? Yeah, sure. Talk to him after. Okay, with that, no municipal act notices, no public notices. Adjournment. Mr. Mollison, who has done that, has done this very much.
And it's being passed down to Councillor Cutting. She's going to look after it from now on.
That is like a privilege.
The torch,
Can you sign it, Dave?
the torch has been passed.
Is that the next oldest down the line?
Mr. Mollison, I will accept the motion to adjourn because I'm losing control of the meeting. Thank you very much.